What's good, family? It's your boy Just Blaze, host of the best NBA pod in the game, Above the Rim. Keep it locked each week and join myself and a special guest as we tackle the latest rumblings in the league. If it's happening in the NBA, you know I got you covered. Make sure you subscribe on all platforms and leave that 5-star review. Let's get it.
You can see, Jans, everybody says that take my style from Kuzma. I've been doing this shit since I was in the league. I always wear sweats. You can go back and check.
She gave me the idea.
No. So, she bought me this too.
Stop putting it. There's little kids on there.
So, guys, you know, the freak.
Stop. What is wrong with you?
He could be a freak on the court and on the shit.
Oh
You
my
know
God.
what I'm saying?
So you're embarrassing.
Woo!
Talk about it!
You are now tuned in to Above the Rim.
Family, welcome to another edition of Above the Rim, the latest episode of Above the Rim, episode 86, brought to you as always by your honorable host. It's your boy Justin, aka Just Blaze, and joining me this week, one of the homies from the infamous Twitter sports thread that I always tell you we got going on. You guys are very familiar with his brother, my man Chris, who's been on here a couple of episodes. Chris Lehman, shout out to him. But tonight, the other half of one of my favorite pods to listen to, the co-host of the Brothers Lehman Sports Happy Hour, my man Jonathan Lehman. What's good, my brother?
What's good, fam? What's happening?
Chilling, man.
Appreciate thank you for blessing me with the opportunity to be on the show. Much appreciated.
Of course, my brother. Anytime. You know how we do. It's a long time coming for you, Jay. A long time coming. You should have been on here, man.
Hey, man, I should have been on there, but you know, daddy duty calls. So you know, been raising this little next NBA star I got coming up. 2 years old now. So.
Future bull.
You know what I'm saying? So in about 15 years or so, be on the lookout for this little bulldog that's gonna be tearing up the courts. That's all I gotta say.
I hear that. Yeah, so family, as always, family, you can find Above the Rim anywhere you listen to podcasts, whether that be iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Spotify, YouTube, lineups.com as well. To get in contact with your boy, you can always hit me up and follow me on Twitter at JustBlaze_513. That's JUSBLAZE_513. On IG is JustBlaze513, and on Facebook, search Above the Rim Podcast. Email the show as well, Above the Rim NBA Podcast at gmail.com. Call up to talk about it line if you have got any feedback, anything like that, 908-718-1592. And JL, man, tell a family where they can find you, brother.
I can be reached. You can hit me and my brother up. We can always be found on Twitter at Brothers Lehman. You can hit us up on our email, thebrotherslayman@gmail.com. You can hit me up specifically on Instagram at mymanro. And yeah, y'all got anything y'all want to say sports-wise, hit us up. We'll definitely hit y'all back. And hey.
If you're ready for that happy hour, hit him up.
Hey, if you're ready for that happy hour, you better come correct, though. You get bit coming in playing with this pit of snakes.
I hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So this episode, family, we getting into the East Coast edition of Contender or Pretender. I did West Coast last week with my boy Reem. And the East playoff race is low-key sticky right now, JL. It's very sticky, very competitive, that East race. 100%. Yeah,
it's looking good. You got a lot of teams that are battling it out for the last little spots in the conference. So honestly, the East is very up for grabs.
It is.
If you will.
It is. It definitely is. It's definitely up for grabs, and it's gonna be an interesting discussion when we get there. But before we get into that, my boy Damo called in, friend of the show, Damo, and left a voicemail discussing these damn Lakers, JL, and I can't even front. I'm not even gonna lie, my man has been right thus far. So let's hear it.
All right.
What's good, Above the Rim family? It's your boy, none other than Damo, calling up. And you know, I want to talk about the LA circus that's going on, the circus that's going on out there in LA. My question is to you, Just, is where do you got LeBron now in your pressure cooker? Because it ain't looking too good out there, man. And as I've said before, I'm not surprised at all, at the meltdown that's going on out there. From the get-go, when LeBron made that move to go out there, I already knew what time it was, man. That's prima donna Bron's homeland right there. You know what I'm saying? He's just going to live the rest of his life, whether he gets rings out there or not. He's just, you could tell already. Look at him. He's in the studio with 2 Chainz. He's got the face. Yeah, he's all about Hollywood now. It's Hollywood Bron now, He's done with the rings, man. Like I predicted before, I didn't think they was going to make the playoffs, and I still stand by that. Right now I'm looking real good at my prediction. So, I just wanted to know where you see LeBron in your pressure cooker right now.
Damo, appreciate the call, my brother. He said some big things there, and I'm not gonna lie, Damo, in the first episode of the season, JL, when he was up here, he said the Lakers are not making the playoffs. I don't care what you say, it's not enough with this roster, and I called him crazy. And now it's not looking so crazy, man. I mean, JL, really quick, but when we get into this Lakers stuff, because it's hot right now, man, I gotta say, I've been very disappointed in LeBron this year, honestly, man, very disappointed. I've never been one of those LeBron bashers, but this season, his leadership, man, it's taken a serious nosedive, man. The finger pointing, the lack of effort is alarming to me, man. And as far as my pressure cooker, as Damo asked, that shit is off the scale, JL. I'm gonna be honest. It's off the scale right now. I'm gonna lose respect for this man if he does not make the playoffs this year. Straight up. To me, it's unacceptable. I'm only asking for the 8th seed, JL. Only the 8th seed, brother.
I mean, look, when the season started, and LeBron made the move over here, and there was a lot of talk about basically them leapfrogging everybody to get to the 2nd, 3rd seed, whatever.
Yeah.
I was of the mindset, kind of similar to your boy Damo. I didn't think they'd be out of the playoffs, but I predicted they'd be no higher than 6.
Okay.
But when it comes to LeBron, the thing is, everything people are pointing out about LeBron right now, LeBron been doing.
Yeah.
Like, it isn't new. Like, everybody he ain't playing defense. He wasn't playing defense last year in Cleveland. Y'all just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, that's true. It wasn't scrutinized as heavy, I feel like. Even though he scrutinized heavy, but I feel like it's another level this year.
Well, because it was the East.
Yeah.
And you knew, regardless, you knew LeBron was going to the finals. It's like, he's saving himself. And that's cool because he can do that in the East. You can't do it in the West. You can't coast like that in the West. Like, and my brother and I talked about this. Last year in the West, basically 2 through 8 was like a 3-game difference. You got teams in the East still 6, 7, 8
under 500. Yeah.
You can get away with this nonsense in the East. You can't do that out West. And he learned. And I think part of it was, yes, he came out here. I think part of it was due to his son, him trying to find the right place for his son to play ball. I specifically signed a 4-year deal so that by the time his son hits the league, he can be a free agent and play with his son for his last year in the league.
Yeah. Do you think he's waiting it out in LA for that to happen? Because I feel like that's something that's on the table for Bron. That's definitely a goal of his.
I think by the time his contract ends, the school year will be over. The NBA is about to pass the rules so you can be straight out of high school going to the pro.
They definitely are bringing that back. They're getting rid of that one and done rule, bro.
Thinking LeBron is like, okay, once my contract's up, whoever drafts my kid, that's where I'm going to end my career.
JL. It's definitely on the table for Bron, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, he's definitely looking like Hollywood Bron right now. And Damo, before, he always said, from the beginning, he said, listen, LeBron came here for the likes. He came here for the IG likes. And he's not looking that crazy right now because I'm not questioning LeBron, the player, his greatness, what he can bring to the table, because obviously you can see this is a semi-reserve LeBron, he's still damn near averaging a triple-double. Still giving you 27-20 because he can do that in his sleep. So it's never been a question about his talent, and we're not questioning his talent. It's just, to me, I feel like, my issue with LeBron is his leadership this season. And because I feel like his leadership needed to take a step up in his 14th or 15th year, whatever year this is, to me, it took a step down when they needed his leadership to be even more on the forefront. And that's why I'm a little bit disappointed in him this year.
The thing is, you kind of see why LeBron has shied away from the young guys, especially at Cleveland.
Yes.
I mean, you saw he had the opportunity to get in Andrew Wiggins. He was like, nah, give me Kevin Love.
Yeah, quickly he got rid of Andrew Wiggins.
Like, the only real young guy he seemed to like and want to play with was Kyrie. And then it got to a point where Kyrie was like, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
I can't deal with you no more. So, I mean, you kind of got the idea that just leadership-wise, to me, LeBron has never been the best leader. I call him owner, GM, coach.
GM.
Whatever you want to call him. But the thing was that LeBron didn't understand is, yes, you are the big ticket in town in Cleveland. Cleveland compared to LA is apples to oranges. You can't compare the two.
Yeah,
there ain't nothing else to do in Cleveland but go to a Cavs game. You go see the Browns play. Ain't nothing to do. There's no nightlife like that.
So
J.R. Smith said that. There ain't no nightlife. Joakim Noah's clown in Cleveland. Yeah, he came to LA. Now you ain't the big ticket in town.
Yeah.
Yes, the Lakers are a great ticket. But a lot of people are like, I don't have to go to a Laker game. I can go to this place.
There's
I can go out
plenty
to
of
a
things to do out
restaurant. I
there.
can go to a club. I can go downtown, do something. I don't have to go to a game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the draw of LeBron, it's not what it is in a city like Cleveland. And the expectation of LeBron is, well, LeBron comes to your team, you automatically going
to the finals
win.
Something. Go very deep in the playoffs. Finals or better. Finals or less.
And LA has always been a championship or bust city. And the last few years have been really crappy. So there was this huge expectation. We got the best player in the league. We moving back in. We moving back in the right direction.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, injuries, Magic plays a part in it.
I think there's a lot of factors.
There are a lot of factors.
Yeah.
And then to me, the Anthony Davis trade disaster was the icing on the cake. That was the 100%. Icing on the cake.
Yeah.
And part of me wants to say, yeah, these young dudes need to grow up, understand it's a business. I mean, shit, Pau Gasol's name was tossed in trade rumors for years out here in LA. He was still a professional at that time, Pau Gasol. He was still playing through it. He was a veteran. That's what I'm saying. You can play through that, though. You got to play through that. You got to understand. Like, look, bro, no hard feelings. I know all y'all grew up loving LeBron, but look, I'm trying to win. Yeah,
listen, Jay. I'm gonna be real. These young boys, they need to suck it up. Okay, it's a damn business at the end of the day, and I don't want to hear anything about they kill their mentality because they're in trade rumors. Grow up, man. You're a professional. This is a business.
You know the golden age of the NBA we used to watch.
Yeah.
There was none of this. There was none of this, buddy. That's why I like Giannis's mentality. Man, ask Giannis, are you working out with these dudes in the offseason? No, because I want to beat them. I don't want them knowing what I'm working on so they can, figure out ways to beat me.
Of course.
I'm trying to perfect my craft so I can beat them.
Definitely.
That's what I want to hear. I don't want you teaming up, all this nonsense. I don't want to see all that. No.
I definitely agree with you 100%. And I'm glad you brought up my man Giannis, because it's a great segue now into the Eastern Conference. Contender or pretender, JL. And we said before, it's sticky icky in the East right now. I'm not going to lie. Eastern playoff race is real deal. 2019 playoffs is going to be something special to watch. So basically, we're going to same format as last week. Going contender or pretender for each one of the teams in the Eastern Conference playoff race. We're going to talk about if we believe in the team, if we think they're a legit threat, some strengths and some weaknesses of each one of the teams as well. And so let's start off at the Bucks, man. Best record in the NBA. First in defense, JL. Fourth in offense. Only team in top 5 in both categories, which is a
Good combination.
great combination. Best defense in the league, as I said before. My guy Giannis averaging 27, 12, and 6. Numbers not seen since Wilt. A block as well, steals as well. And the Milwaukee Bucks, they have 6 guys averaging double figures in scoring. Very balanced roster. And when I look at this Milwaukee Bucks team, I see the image of a complete team. I think they're a very complete team, very well-balanced team. But I'm a little nervous, JL. I got all the faith in Giannis because that's my guy. I love Brogdon. I think he's a solid scorer, solid ball handler, also a solid defender. I think he's in the 50, 40, 90 club right now if he ends the season this way. And I like their depth and everything like that. And I love that they have a clear identity around Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak. But when I look around, I don't know who I can trust in a playoff series other than Giannis when the going gets tough. And that's when I'm a little bit afraid of with Milwaukee. But I forgot this because I skipped over this. Disclaimer, contender for me, for Milwaukee Bucks. So I have them as a contender. But I'm just a little bit nervous about them when it comes to that because I can trust Giannis in the playoffs to do his job. But can I trust for a second star to emerge in the playoffs?
Well, I'm gonna go contender as well. I hear you on being nervous, just because Giannis has never been out the first round.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're like, okay, at what point are you gonna break through this? Now, I do think this is. I do too. I think this is the year that they break through. I just think they just have too much depth to not succeed. You just look at all the guys they can throw at you. You know, Eric Bledsoe. You know, you mentioned Brogdon. You got Chris Middleton. You got Brook Lopez. They just added Pau Gasol. I mean, they have a great mix of youth and veterans. I think they have guys. They have guys who have defined roles and know their roles and execute their roles very well. Like a guy that many people don't talk about, Tony Snell. This guy knows his role. He plays solid defense. He hits the open three. You know, he's not trying to do more than he's supposed to or more than he knows he can. He just does what he's supposed to do. So, I mean, Mike Budenholzer honestly should be coach of the year.
He's my pick for coach of the year. I got him as my coach of the year.
The way he's turned this team around, you know, because let's not forget, a lot of people were shitting on Budenholzer coming off him with the Hawks and looking good. And now you take
But they did have a lot of success on those Hawks teams. It was just that they were a pretender to me.
Yeah.
They had a great regular season record, but I knew once Al Horford was your top player, Al Horford, Joe Johnson, whichever one you want to call it, that's not going to get it done. Keep him in a buck. It's not going to get it done.
100%. But like you said, I mean, these guys are very complete team. They are only team in the top 5 in both offense and defense. I mean, that's big. That's a huge combination. That's a winning combo. Yes. I mean, if you shutting teams down and scoring with the best of them, I mean, even Golden State ain't doing that these days.
Exactly. So. And you know what I like about Milwaukee JL is I like their length. Look at their length of their team.
Yep.
Brook Lopez, he can't rebound for his damn life, good Lord, but he could block a shot every now and again. He could block a shot.
How about Mirotic?
Hey, you got Mirotic. To me, I called in one of my earlier episodes, he was of the trading deadline, he was the best basketball pickup of the deadline. And when I say basketball, I mean his fit-wise with this lineup, because I think he will fit in he is fitting in seamlessly, and I think he's going to play a major role, and I think he can win you a game, a guy like Mirotic. He can sneakily get you 25 or 30 on a sneak.
Oh, when he's hot, he's hot.
Exactly.
When he's hit, he's rolling.
Exactly, and I think he's going to play a lot of minutes, and I think he's going to have a prominent role. Off that bench with him and Pau Gasol, that's a solid Euro combo coming off the bench.
Well, Milwaukee did the smart thing, and they truly did build around Giannis' strength.
Yes.
Like, it was like Giannis is working on his shot still. You know, he's improved his three-point shooting, but he's not still a really good three-point shooter. So they're like, okay, he needs to get to the paint. Easiest way to get to the paint, have shooters around him to pull the defenders out. So that gives you the Brogdons, the Brook Lopez's, Chris Middleton, Eric Bledsoe, Mirotic. All these dudes can hit threes. So all you do is just open in the lane, and all it takes is 2 steps for Giannis, and he's dunking.
100%. It's nothing for him to get to the rack. But to me, what I was thinking is what I need to see from Giannis is what I was always saying before is I need to see him elevate the level of play from his teammates in the postseason. That to me is the hurdle that Giannis has to go over. Because remember last year they were playing the Boston Celtics, and Eric Bledsoe, he was getting worked by Rozier. Worked. And I didn't see, I'm not necessarily blaming Giannis for that, but when that was happening, I needed Giannis to stop the bleeding in that case. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? And he wasn't able to do that and will his team to a victory when his man is getting worked on the court. So I need Giannis to elevate the level of play from his teammates and make all his teammates better, like a guy like Bledsoe. I need to see 15 or 20 from Bledsoe in the playoffs in order for them to advance far. I need to see about 20 from Bledsoe. I'm not going to lie. Him and Middleton, they got to get me close to 20.
I think Bledsoe's going to be good now, especially now that he got this extension. I think he's going to be comfortable. He can play loose and free. He ain't worrying about money now. He ain't worrying about his next contract.
True. He was playing that night against the Lakers like he just got his direct deposit. He was.
You go.
He was. I'm not going to lie. He was. And I said it on Twitter, and I'm going to say it again here. I got the Bucks and the Rockets in the finals 2019, bro.
You ain't letting them Rockets go.
That's it. I'm not. I'm not playing. June, baby.
Hey, we'll see you in June.
See you in June. You know it. I keep the same energy, JL. You know me, man. I don't play.
I'm with it. I love it.
So moving on in the Eastern Conference, the Toronto Raptors, second in the Eastern Conference, 7th in offense, 7th in defense as well. They're 22-3. I saw a stat online in games where Kyle Lowry scores 15 or more points. They're 5-5 when he scores less than 10. I like the pickup of Marc Gasol in the trading deadline. I saw online also that since the All-Star break, they're in assist percentage or assist rate or something like that. They're first in the league since they got Marc Gasol, since he started playing there. So that to me tells me that they're moving the ball a lot better, and they're taking the ball out of out of Kyle Lowry's hands and putting it in Marc Gasol's hands in the high post, mid post, and running the offense a little bit through him. And JL, man, we got to talk about Siakam, man, because he's second on the team in points per game, averaging more than 16 per contest. So I have the Toronto Raptors as a contender for me, personally. I think they are a really, really solid team. I love their depth on their team. I love what Kawhi brings to the table. And I think he's going to be dynamite in the playoffs as well. And I'll talk about my gripes with them after, but I'm going to go contender for me. What about you, JL?
I'm definitely going to go contender. I do have questions.
Talk to me.
But I will say, second best player on this team is definitely Pascal Siakam. I think he's taking his game to a whole nother level.
Second best, you said?
Second best player on this team, yes.
Okay.
I think this young man has worked his way into a really great player. I think he reminds me a little bit of Kawhi in the kind of the steps he's taking to improve and evolve his game to be an all-around player. Because you saw last year he was kind of the high motor, high energy kind of guy, and this year he's taken it to another level. He's worked on his 3-point shot, which gives him another
very
another
impressed
weapon
with that, by the way. Yeah,
he's using his length a little bit differently. He's been a little bit more aggressive on the boards and attacking the basket. So you can see he's getting a lot more comfortable with his role and his play. And the sky's the limit for this kid. He's like 20, 25, 24, 20. I mean, I got to give kudos to the Toronto Raptors scouting department because they found
they got some gems on that bench, low key though, right?
I mean, hey, I did some digging. I'm just like, wait a minute. So I was like, Siakam was a pick in the 20s. OG out of
Anunoby,
Anunoby, he was a pick in the 20s. Van Fleet was an undrafted pick. Norman Powell was a second-round pick. So, I mean, you're talking about these aren't like your star players, but you're talking about guys who have given you really good minutes and are playing really specific roles for you guys. And all these guys are late first round, second round, undrafted players. That's kudos to the scouting department.
Definitely, I agree. So I was listening to everything you said, JL, and I wanted to talk to you about something because you brought up Siakam, as you said, is the second best player on the Raptors, right? Yes. So for a championship contender team, do you think that's enough? Can Siakam be a second best player on a championship contender team? That's a question.
I think he can be because their superstar player is that good in Kawhi Leonard.
Okay.
Now, the only question I have with Kawhi is the conditioning factor when it comes to the playoffs, only because he's been sitting out so many back-to-backs and sitting out so many games.
But you know why? They're sitting him, though. I think they're purposely doing it. I don't think it's due to lack of conditioning. I feel like they're telling him to sit down.
No. I'm just talking about, I'm wondering how his conditioning is going to be, just because he is sitting a lot. And
load management.
It's getting to a point where I'm just like, okay, you got a 7-game series. You ain't going to be sitting. Are you?
True.
You gonna have the endurance to push through that just because you've been sitting so much this season.
Honestly, I think he'll be fine. I don't know. I think he'll be fine only because there's no back-to-backs in the playoffs.
True.
Yeah, that's the only feel like he'll be all right.
My other question with Toronto, of course, is Kyle Lowry. I mean,
thank you. About time.
When brother had to decompress, I'm never gonna forget that. When he had to decompress in a game, I was just like, man.
Decompress.
He mentally he ain't got it.
I've never seen anything like that in my life, Jay. I've never heard anything like that before. With the highest level of competition to go to the locker room and decompress? Come on. What are we talking about?
Like, what is going on? Well, I don't know.
He's the problem.
But I will say this. I think trading DeMar DeRozan lit a little bit of a fire under him.
Yes.
He has much better this season.
I think he's second or third in the league in assists, I believe, this year.
He's really been a man on a mission. So I think not having his boy there anymore kind of put his focus back on basketball. I think he and DeMar are having a really good time together. You know, they're boys, they're best friends, they're hanging out all the time, so on and so forth. And I personally think sometimes it was kind of their friendship overtook winning to an extent.
Oh, yeah. I think they value their friendship over winning too much. Yeah.
You know, we still boys at the end of the day. It's all good. We cool. We chilling. And I think now that his boy's been removed from the equation, his focus is strictly basketball. That's it.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it definitely refocused him. But he's been a little salty also as well that he traded his boy. He's been mad at Masai Ujiri all year. Been sulking. Yeah, and I don't want to hear that. I need him to ball out in the playoffs because if he doesn't, I don't think the Raptors can advance if he doesn't give you at least 18-10, 20-10, something like that in that range. I think they're gonna need that out of him because when he plays good, he plays really well. He plays decent defense. He's competitive. But if he doesn't, he'll score like 2 points and he'll disappear.
Well, I think this is it. I think if Kyle Lowry disappoints in the playoffs this year, he's gone. They getting rid of him.
Yeah, he should have been gone, honestly, if you ask me, but neither here nor there. I would have went for Conley quick. I don't understand what the problem was. Quickly. But
yeah.
Moving on. Philly, brother. Philadelphia 76ers, a very intriguing team in the East right now. Not gonna lie. The process. Fourth in the East right now. They're ninth in offense, 12th in defense. They got Tobias, acquired Mike Scott, Boban, Jonathan Simmons. They got that scrub James Ennis over there. I hate James Ennis. Fucking hate him. I got Philly as a contender. A fringe contender, but a contender. And my issue with them, their strength to me is I feel like they're very top heavy, which I would call it as a strength for them. I think they're very top heavy because their top four to me is elite in my mind. But The bench is why I worry about this team. The depth on this team, because I feel like it's severely lacking. After that, Mike Scott is solid. TJ McConnell. TJ McConnell, I mean... he plays hard. He's a little feisty, but I really don't care.
He's like Rudy. He's like Rudy.
Exactly. I mean, I don't care about his feistiness. Can you get me a bucket? And you can't. Boban, I'm not going to rely on him in the playoffs. He'll give you a good 10 minutes of being an ogre. You know, he'll give you that. Jonathan Simmons, I thought he'll be a little bit better. He hasn't really shown me much, but I do think he's a promising young player. But my issue also with them being top heavy is also coaching, also with Brett Brown. So that's my issues with them. But JL, contender or pretender for the Sixers?
I know a lot of people might disagree with me, but I'm actually going to go pretender.
Oh, talk about it. Pretender. Tell me why, brother.
Kind of the reasons you just echoed, they are very top heavy.
Very.
And that scares me. And then not to mention the fact that you brought in Jimmy Butler. When you brought in Jimmy Butler, you already heard Joel chirping.
Yes.
Chirping about my role. And then you went and brought in another dude in Tobias Harris, which is going to take more touches away from him. Now you're talking about getting into playoff time, and Ben Simmons' jump shot is going to become an issue in the playoffs. It's going to.
So you think it's going to be an issue?
Yes, it's going to be an issue in the playoffs. It's going to be an issue.
So
and
yeah,
you got Joel Embiid. Now he's a little banged up a little bit.
Some knee tendonitis. Something's up with his knee, I believe, right? Not his back anymore, just the knee.
I know he's been a good soldier up to this point, but Jimmy Butler's attitude is going to re-show itself come playoff time and things aren't going well.
I agree.
So I have a lot of questions about this team, not to mention the fact that when they, some of the trades they did make, they improved the team, but they did lose some depth. Like, personally,
a lot of it.
As much as I like Jimmy Butler, I liked Covington and Saric. Like, I liked that tandem you had going for you because Covington plays defense. I mean, Jimmy Butler is a great defender, but Covington does play defense too. Can't hit the three. Saric is another shooter. So I felt like they got rid of quite a bit of shooting that they needed.
A lot of shooting.
I mean, is Joel going to be your three-point shooter in the playoffs? Like,
remember, that's what he complained about earlier. He said that they were using him as a stretch five, and he doesn't like being utilized in that role as a stretch five.
That's what I mean. I have too many questions for this team to call them a contender. I just do.
I hear you, because it's like, I always ask the question, is less more with this particular squad? And I think it is, honestly. And who's going to sacrifice on this roster? Because I feel like the person who has to sacrifice is got to be Jimmy Butler. And I think that's where Elton Brand went wrong at the trading deadline. Because when he acquired Tobias Harris, I'm not going to lie, I would have had a trade for Jimmy Butler on deck immediately. And I would have traded Jimmy Butler at the deadline because I think Tobias is a better fit with that roster. He's mild-mannered as well. His ego is not really a problem with him, as you can see. And he'll blend into his role, a scoring role, which is what they needed, a perimeter scorer. But Jimmy, I would have traded him, JL, for I would have honestly traded him to Houston for Eric Gordon and some picks, because he was on the table. I feel like another shooter, a guard, an actual two guard that can come off the bench behind JJ Redick would be more beneficial for that roster and for their style of play. So you can keep Joel Embiid on the block. You don't have to put him as a stretch five. I feel like they should have traded him, JL. They should have.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
When it comes to the playoffs, we all know that you got to perform in the half-court setting. And in the half-court, to me, that's where Ben Simmons' jumper is going to become an issue.
Yeah.
And who else is spacing the floor besides JJ Redick? I mean, Tobias Harris is a decent shooter, but I would call him more streaky than great. Jimmy Butler is a streaky shooter.
Very.
Joel Embiid can hit threes, but he's not a shooter. Like, you're so there's no consistency on the outside perimeter. So I just, somebody is going to just shut down. I'm just sticking to JJ Redick like glue. He's not, I'm taking him out of the equation. And you going to have to make your big four beat me. And to me, none of them have really clearly defined roles yet.
Oh,
besides
none of them.
Like the point guard. But
yeah, none of them at all
it.
have defined roles. They're just playing basketball right now, like rec league ball right now.
It's off talent as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly. And that to me, I'm glad you brought that up, because that to me is my weakness with that team. And to me, my weakness is it might be a little bit of coaching, man, because how to me is Brett Brown going to mesh this talent in the postseason? Because I feel like he has to be more of an ego manager now in the postseason. And because to me, I feel like in the postseason, they're going to have to stagger those lineups a lot more than he has been in the season now. Because I feel like their offense is very one-dimensional. It's stagnant. If you notice, JL, you know what they do every time I watch their plays? All they do is dribble handoffs every possession. Every time Ben Simmons comes on the court in a half-court set, it's a dribble handoff to JJ, which is who hands it off to Embiid, who doesn't, and JJ does another curl, another pin down. There's another dribble handoff or screen and a shot, or Tobias coming around a curl. It's all dribble handoffs to me, and it's very basic offense that I feel like in the playoffs, when you game plan for it, it's very easy to stop. And that's my issue, and I feel like the offense has to be a little bit more dynamic for them to take the next step in the playoffs.
100%.
Yeah, definitely. So that's gonna be interesting to watch, man. I was leaning toward Pretender, but I'm glad you said it, man. I thought I was a little crazy there.
I can't trust. Ain't trusting.
I feel you. So moving on to the other East powerhouse. Let's go to the Boston Celtics, man. Boston Celtics right now, they are 5th in the East. They're 10th in offense, 5th in defense. They've lost 5 out of 6 since the All-Star break. They got spanked by my Rockets this weekend. Over there in Boston, a lot of questions with this team right now. The expectations they've had, they haven't gotten close to their expectations. Everybody had them as a top 2 seed in the NBA, or in the Eastern Conference rather, that they were competing against Golden State. Been a lot of questions around this team, a lot of uncertainty, a lot around Kyrie Irving and his leadership, and if his leadership has affected their style of play. So for me personally, I'm gonna go contender still, but I'm gonna go contender depending upon matchup. Because I feel like if they stay in that 5 seed and they have to play Philly in that 5 seed and then Milwaukee in the second round, I don't think they can get to the Eastern Conference Finals. But if they can somehow slip into 6, maybe play Indiana in the first round somehow, I think they can be a better team, and then they can be a contender in that way. But as far as talent-wise, I do think they have the talent to be a contender, and I think they will try to make some noise in the playoffs. But before we get into that, JL, you tell me, contender or pretender for these Boston Celtics?
I was one of those people who had them as a top 2 seed. I really thought this team was going to have a chance to compete with Golden State, perhaps, but I got to go pretender, man.
Ooh.
They're not meshing. Like, to me, this is the time where you're supposed to mesh as a team. Like, you're supposed to crescendo your way into the playoffs. Like, y'all.
This is the time to
This
peak.
is where y'all bond. Exactly. This is where the camaraderie's coming together a little bit more. The morale is building, not decreasing.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like and now it's gotten to the point every single game, because Kyrie has opened his damn mouth so much. This season, like every game after every game, he's just even this past game, like when they lost to Houston, they were just talking to him, and he basically said a couple words for every question. And it was like, your leadership is ass, dude.
It's
like
horrible, Jay. Horrible.
And personally, he took cues from Bron. I'm saying it. Yeah, he took leadership cues from Bron.
Big bro, he showed you know what's crazy. You know what's crazy, man? He's been all over the place this year with his emotions or his free agency intentions, and you know what I think, man? I said it in another show previously, that the other key role players on the Celtics, I feel like they might be a little bit upset because they feel like the organization is catering too much to Kyrie Irving's free agency. And I feel like they're not trying to hear it and they're not having it. So I was thinking about it, like, if they win, right? If they win or if they win the Eastern Conference Finals or they go to the finals, I feel like all the credit goes to Kyrie as the person who brought them over the top because they went to the conference finals last year. And if they don't win, I feel like they believe the narrative is going to be like the role players didn't step up. Because you know Kyrie's going to get his 25 regardless, no matter what. He's going to get his 25. And I feel like these guys feel like they would be getting there anyway, just based on the fact that LeBron isn't there in the East anymore. And they were already building to some chemistry and on the right track to winning. And I feel like Kyrie acting like an OG this year in the locker room is making everything worse because he wants to be respected as an OG in the league. But he doesn't have that. He's not an OG, JL. And I think he wants to be respected. And these young guys are looking at him like, bro, you 27, you're 26. You're not an OG. Relax. We're not taking a step back for you.
The thing that Kyrie really botched was he looked at himself in that LeBron-esque light.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
However, if you look at the scenarios, when LeBron was out, Cleveland didn't win anything.
Nothing.
Pre-LeBron, before LeBron got to Cleveland, and when it was just Kyrie there, ass. Number one pick, they were terrible. So, and then you have Boston, these young guys stepping up, making plays, and getting to the Eastern Conference Finals last year without you.
Mm-hmm.
Now you want to put on this whole moniker that, oh, well, these young guys don't necessarily know. Kevin Loves and everybody this and that, you still wasn't winning game. So Kyrie wants to be looked at in the light of LeBron, but he's not. As good as Kyrie is, and as clutch as Kyrie is, because he is clutch, and I will give him that. That brother makes them clutch buckets.
He does.
He has to understand that he's not LeBron. And the way LeBron does things, LeBron is able to get away with that because of how good LeBron is.
Of course. He always gets the benefit of the doubt. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Kyrie, you're good. You ain't that good, though, dude. And let's not forget. See, people forget. I don't forget. Kyrie was injury prone. When he first
he's
got
still
into this
injury
league.
prone.
Well, there you go. He's injury prone, and to me, he's never really proven himself to be a winner. He won with LeBron.
Exactly. People act like he's a winner so much.
Yeah, on his own merits, he's never won when he's led a team on his own. Never.
Not at all.
So I'm like, if I'm these young dudes, I'm like, yeah, kick rocks, bro, because you didn't win a goddamn thing until you got LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
So miss you with that. So him calling out his teammates and all that, yeah, it was definitely unwarranted. And if I was one of them, I definitely would take offense to it.
Yeah, I definitely would too.
Got to the Eastern Conference Finals without you. And Gordon Hayward.
And you know what's crazy? You know what I was thinking too? Where's Al Horford in all this? The so-called veteran leader on this team. First of all, this bum is giving you 13 and 6. All right, they give you people will screaming Al Horford to me like this guy is the answer to the Celtics. Stop it. He's making damn near max money. I don't know what he's making right now. Almost 30 mil. Giving you 13 and 6. He's supposed to be the vet leader. Where is he?
Al Horford is a veteran presence, but in a scenario like this, honestly, dude, let's keep it real. Who gonna listen to Al Horford?
They paying him. They paying enough. Where I'm not trying to count the man's pockets, but come on now.
$4 Who's listening to Al Horford as far as, dude, you're a great player,
leader.
but you ain't a veteran leader, but you ain't a star.
Veteran leader who's not leading.
This guy who is going to lead me to the championship. So yes, I will take some of your advice, but as far as you trying to shut things down that's never been Al Horford's personality. No. Al Horford always come across as just really a really laid back dude.
We gotta hold him accountable, man. We gotta hold that man accountable. He's not being held accountable for this. There's a piece of it. I'm not trying to shit on the man Al Horford. I'm just saying he's supposed to be a leader on the team.
I think because of what he was paid, everybody is putting him in this pedestal like, oh, well, he getting paid max dollars. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean.
I'm just saying, for the people who are screaming Al Horford to me.
I would say, I mean, come on, dude. Like, that make a real basketball fan. Whoever's preaching Al Horford to you, that they don't know basketball.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying.
Because I just, like, I'm sorry. As a good Horford is, can he, coach some of the young dudes? Absolutely. He can help. He can have a veteran presence. But if you telling me Al Horford going to be the main voice in a players-only meeting,
come on, man.
No.
Not at all. Not at all, man. But let's move on, JL. The Indiana Pacers, man. They're a very good team right now. Third in the East. They're second in defense, bro. Second in defense, 15th in offense. They've been overlooked as one would expect. Their stars gone. Victor Oladipo, Nate McMillan is doing a hell of a coaching job. One out of only 8 African-American coaches in the league. Mind you, there needs to be more. Let's get that in play. Adam Silver, don't play yourself. I'm
always pounding the table.
Yeah, you're damn right. And Oladipo, he's missed basically like almost half of the season now. And the next best players, they got Sabonis, they got Miles Turner, Bogdanovich. They're stingy, they're scrappy, they're playing great defense. They allow the fewest points per game in the league. And to me, one of their strengths of this roster is that they have nothing to lose, and they could just go out and have fun. And that to me is a scary team sometimes. A team that has nothing to lose and nothing to really, no expectations on them. So I think that's their strength, that they can't play very loose. And I think they are definitely going to scare a team. I don't think they could beat a team in the playoffs. So I definitely don't have them as a contender. They're a pretender, but I believe they can scare somebody in the East because for taking them too lightly.
I think for the reasons you named, I'm actually going to put them in the contender category.
Oh, wow, spicy.
I think they're in the third. Are they in the third seed right now?
Third seed, yeah.
Third seed right now. For those reasons you named, they're a team that they have nothing to lose.
Nothing.
They have nothing to fear. And if you look at their team, they have a pretty good roster. Like, their team's pretty solid. I mean, the players you mentioned, you got Thaddeus Young. You got Bogdanovich, who can hit the three.
Miles Turner.
I mean, you
Wesley
really,
Matthews they picked up.
You got Darren Collison. You still got Tyreke Evans.
Solid
so you
rotational.
Got dudes who can play, and you got solid players. And Nate McMillan is a good coach.
Very good.
I think he is one of the biggest, I guess, most underrated coaches.
Oh, yes.
When he Portland went unnoticed, like, people don't realize how good of a coach he really is. Yes. And he's never really had like superstars. Like, yes, he had Dame Lillard in Portland early on, but he's never really had like a superstar.
And his teams are always players respect him too.
Hell yes, man. And his teams are always good defensively. So I just think this team really can put some fear into people. I think able to switch because they have so many players who can have good size and are very athletic. They can switch and play different roles. So I think they really could surprise some people, and I think they could be a contender.
Okay. Spicy talk. I like to hear that, JL. The Brooklyn Nets. Very interesting team. I'm not saying my Brooklyn Nets, but repping for Brooklyn Nets. They are the 6th seed in the East right now, 17th in offense, 17th in defense. They already have more wins than they did each of the past 3 seasons, so shout out to them for that, for playing hard. Coach Atkinson has his team playing very well right now. Been sneaking up on a lot of teams. D'Lo's first All-Star appearance, got to show him some love there as well. Jared Allen is coming to his own as one of the good centers in the league. A very good shot blocking defending center. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson been playing well. Joe Harris won the 3-point shootout. Karis LeVert has been balling. Spencer Dinwiddie off the bench has been balling.
Joe Harris, 3-point snipe.
Harris. But can they win a playoff series? I don't know, JL. I'm not going to lie to you, because when I see who they are matched up with, if they play against the Pacers, they could do some damage. But anybody else, I gotta go Pretender against the Nets, man. As much as I want to see them succeed, I definitely think they're first round out. I think they might be just happy to be here in those kind of terms. So I'm gonna go Pretender on the Nets, Jay. What about you?
No, 100% agree with you, bro. I think they are pretenders.
Yeah.
I just think they're a team that's on the rise. They're a team, to me, they're the Milwaukee Bucks like 2-3 years ago. They're a team
good comparison. Yes.
That you see is growing. They have some nice pieces. If I like honestly, if I'm a superstar coming into this offseason, I'm really looking hard at Brooklyn.
Yes.
I mean, you got Jared Allen, so you got a defensive presence in the paint. You got D'Angelo Russell, so you got a legit all-star point guard.
Would you keep him if you're the Nets, JL? This summer.
Am I keeping him?
Yeah, D'Lo. He's a restricted free agent.
I like D'Angelo Russell.
Okay.
I personally thought the Lakers made a mistake trading him. That was just my personal opinion.
You know why, though? They needed that.
The big ball away.
That was all the big ball away.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, what happened with him and Nick Young in the locker room, you really couldn't fix.
Yeah.
And I think somebody had to go. The players gravitated towards Nick Young.
He lost the locker room at that point.
He lost a lot. So he had to go. It's just unfortunate because now we see the player he's kind of blossoming into.
Yes.
But I think the Nets, you definitely keep him. You got him. You got Jared Allen. You got Karis LeVert. You got Joe Harris. I mean, so, you know, Allen Crabbe. So you got some shooters. You look at this team and you like, okay, they play hard. Scrap. You know, you in Brooklyn. Shout out to B.I.G. I mean, so you aren't necessarily the bright lights of Madison Square Garden, but you still in that New York borough. You know what I'm saying? So you still get that New York love.
Yeah.
So I mean, if I'm a superstar, I'm really looking at Brooklyn. Plus, you back in the East, sans LeBron. Ain't no LeBron there, so you really don't have. I mean, you got Giannis, you got Joel, whatever, but as far as like that number one player in the league type, you don't really. LeBron, that roadblock of LeBron is gone.
Yes.
So,
the East is wide open, I feel like.
East is wide open still, but yeah, for sure. The Nets are pretenders, but they are pretenders on the up and up.
Yes, I agree. 100% agree. We're in agreement there. The Detroit Pistons, man, they are 7th in the East, right? 6th or 7th in the East right now. They are 21st in offense, 10th in defense, which is surprising, mind you. I didn't know they were that high. 10th in defense. They won. I was very surprised by that. Dwayne Casey got them playing some defense. They won 9 out of their last 11 games. They've been playing well. Blake is having a career year, giving you 25, 8, and 5. They're playing well. I'm going to go Pretender because I don't feel like they have enough other than Blake and Drummond. I'm not a big fan of Reggie Jackson. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a big fan of him as a point guard. I feel like he over dribbles. And they are a pretender to me, JL. But, you know, my issue with them is, can Blake take over in a playoff series? I don't know if he could take over in a playoff series, JL. I mean, he probably could. He'll give you great numbers like his 25, 8, and 5. But willing his team to win is another thing that I'm worried about with Blake Griffin. I hope he can, and I think he will, because I'm actually rooting for Blake. And I need him to see him elevate his teammates as well. JL, what do you think about the Detroit Pistons?
Dude, you took the words right out of my mouth. I literally was just thinking with Blake. I was like, you know, he gives you these great numbers, but they don't feel like impact numbers.
Yeah. Like
there's no impact behind them, and it bothers me because you're like, he's good, but he doesn't push a team over the edge. Like, it's like you said, he's giving you these great numbers, but the will to push a team to that next level just doesn't seem to be there. He seems like he's better suited to be a number 2.
Yes.
Complimentary player. But I mean, they're contenders for sure. I mean, not contenders. They're pretenders for sure. The only reason I would give them a chance of maybe winning a series is because of the two-headed beast in the paint with Drummond and Blake. That's a load to take on, especially Andre Drummond, who I think he's still only like 24, 25. So
crazy.
He's still improving his game. But I do like Dwayne Casey, another coach who I think is vastly underrated. He's doing a good job with this team. It's gonna take a couple years and some more pieces to get this team where they want to go.
Definitely. I definitely agree there. So the Pistons will be an interesting team to look out for because they got to upgrade that roster. They got to upgrade the rotation around Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond. Last but not least, man, the Charlotte Hornets, man, has been the case for a while now. You know, everything starts and ends with Kemba Walker. He's giving you 25, giving you his 5 or 6 assists a night, can explode for 40 one night, can explode for 30 the next night. He can win you a game in the playoffs, but he can't win you a series. And Kemba's my man, one of my top 5 players in the league. But they're a pretender. We all know this. We all know the Hornets don't have enough to contend. It's just Kemba and the Pips.
For real, because, I mean, and unfortunately, you know what, Charlotte Hornet fans, just enjoy Kemba while you got him in because come this offseason, he's out there. He's out, man. He's gone. I can see him going to the Knicks or just he's leaving. Period. He's just getting out of Charlotte. Like I feel for him because he is good, man, and he doesn't get the notoriety he deserves. He doesn't get the national attention he really deserves just because of where he plays. And but if you're a real basketball fan and you're watching this dude, you're just like, damn.
Yeah.
I'm just like, bro, come to Chicago. Damn.
Definitely. Yeah. Kemba, man, whoo, he's gonna make somebody happy this free agency. I'm telling you, man, whoever picks up Kemba is gonna be big time. Definitely. And that East playoff race is going to be sticky, JL, man. I'm telling you, man. That Eastern Conference, I think it's being slept on. I think it's going to be just as competitive as the West is this year. 100%.
100%.
Yeah, definitely. So, family, you know what time it is, man.
Not a game. We talking about practice.
Crossover segment. My man JL, I'll be throwing out player comparisons from different eras. My man JL asks his GM and he tells me who he would take out of the two in their prime if he was building a team. Start up. First off, JL, building a team. Are you taking a prime Brandon Roy or a prime Chris Mullin? Now, let me give you the career stats. Brandon Roy, 18 points per game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 45% from the floor, 3-time All-Star, 1-time Rookie of the Year, of course. Chris Mullin, 18 points per game as well, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, shooting 50% from the floor for his career, 5-time All-Star, 1-time All-NBA first team. JL, building a squad, you taking Brandon Roy or you taking Chris Mullin? Both of them on the table.
With today's rules?
Any rules you want. Today's rules, yo. Primes.
Oh, that's a tough one. I like me some Brandon Roy, man. all the way back to his UW days. I love me some Brandon Roy. I can't take him over Chris Mullin.
Ooh.
I got out of St. John's, bro. Like Chris Mullin was that dude. Like people forget Chris Mullin was wet from 3. Just hit that all day. He could dunk on you. He was long, like run TMC. Like, come on.
Run to him, Tim Hardaway, Mitch, Rich. And listen, that was one of the best offensive teams ever. Man,
come on, dude. I'm like, Brandon Roy was great. He was clutch. It's unfortunate the injuries, took the toll on him, but God, Chris Mullin was a beast. I got to go Chris Mullin.
Listen, brother, we agree on this one here, man. I'm going Chris Mullin as well, JL. And you know why I'm giving him the nod, man? First of all, I think they were both great offensive players, both of them. Brandon Roy, silky smooth game. One of my favorite 2 guards of all time. I definitely think he was overrated and still slept on as one of the top 2 guards. I think if he was playing right now, a healthy Brandon Roy would definitely be a top 5 2 guard in the league right now. Definitely. Maybe top 3 even. But I gotta go Chris Mullin, and for this reason, because you know what, JL? He made that All-NBA first team in 1992, brother. You know, that was the year he made it over Barkley, and the year he made it over Pippen that year. Dream team around those years. So I gotta give him love for that. So that was his peak. Peak Chris Mullin, Run TMC. He was a scoring machine. He averaged over 20 multiple seasons, and he was the leading scorer on that Run TMC Golden State Warriors team. And then even when he moved over to Indiana, remember also as well, he had some great years there also.
Yep.
So I gotta give Mullin love, and he from St. John's, from BK. I gotta give Mullin some love.
What I'm saying.
I gotta give some love. I feel like Chris Mullin is not mentioned enough though with some of the great scorers in this league, man.
I agree.
Definitely not. So moving on. Next up, are you taking a prime Sheed Wallace, or a prime Pau Gasol? Let me give you the career stats. Sheed, 14 points per game, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, 1 steal, 46% from the floor, 1-time champ, 4-time All-Star. Pau Gasol, 17 points per game, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block. 2-time champ, 6-time All-Star, Rookie of the Year. JL, you got Sheed on the table, got Powell on the table. Who you taking, brother?
I mean, Powell is nasty. Powell got that first game. Powell gets you them blocks, especially in his prime, too. Powell was nasty. Him and Kobe was, they was doing their thing. But Sheed, man, it's like we say in the thread, man, Sheed got that dog in him. Like, I to go with a prime Sheed. I mean, he proved also, along with the rest of that Pistons crew, that they didn't need a quote-unquote superstar to win a championship. I mean, Sheed, even back in his Portland Trailblazer days, I mean, he just, that toughness, man, that take no shit attitude. I mean, I could not picture Rasheed Wallace playing in today's NBA.
Oh man, what?
How many ejections he would have? Like he could not play by today's rules. Like that's Rasheed Wallace played when he was supposed to play. He's one of those where he played in the perfect time for him, because if he played in today's NBA,
it's a problem.
He wouldn't enjoy it. He would not have fun because it would be too soft for him.
Yeah,
he would just be like...
He would be over the technical foul limit. I think it's, 17 in the season? He'll be over it very quick, before All-Star break.
That's what I'm saying. And he was racking them up back then.
Yes.
I mean, now he would crush the record. So, I mean, but just the fight he showed and the toughness, the leadership, I mean, because everybody, we all know how it goes. You see a guy, he acts a certain way, he looks a little crazy, and so on and so forth, and you're just like, well, how can this guy be a leader, and so on and so forth? But you see all his teammates backed him up.
Man, always the Jailblazers, they always did. Bonzi Wells, Damon Stoudemire, who else? Ruben Patterson,
because he always had their back 100%.
Yeah, Dale Davis too.
All them dudes.
Yeah, they did.
He was a real good leader. He just wore his emotions on his sleeve.
Yeah, JL, I'm not gonna lie, man. We 2 for 2, brother. I'm taking Sheed also. We 2 for 2. I can't pick a prime Sheed. I mean, I can't pick a prime Powell over Sheed. I mean, Powell does have better numbers, over a better statistical career. I gonna lie, but like you said, he doesn't have that dog in him that you need, that I like in my power forwards to have. And to me, he was one of the most talented power forwards of all time. One of the most talented. He's one of the few big men that, along with Dirk Nowitzki around that time, one of the few big men who was stepping out and hitting those threes with regularity.
Perfect stretch four in today's game.
Perfect stretch four. Yeah, and he can, he can kill you on the block. Post ups, fadeaways. He can protect the rim a little bit. I got 2 issues with Sheed. Number one is that he never averaged 20 in a season, which is crazy to me. And I was very disappointed in that. So that to me tells me, and it goes into my next point, that I feel like he didn't have the will that I needed him to have as your number one player. Like he wanted to be great, but I don't feel like he cared as much as like a Kevin Garnett or somebody like that to will himself and his team to win. And that to me, that always kept him back from reaching his full potential, I think, Sheed.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that was always disappointing. I hated that about Sheed, man, but he was one of the most talented power forwards ever, man, for real.
Without question.
Definitely, man. Yeah, so family, man. This is JL, my brother. Appreciate you joining me for another episode of Above the Rim, brother. That Eastern Conference race is sticky, dog.
Yes, sir.
It damn sure is. Before we get on out there, tell the people where they can find you in the Brothers Lehman Sports Happy Hour.
Hey, y'all can always find us on Twitter at Brothers Lehman. You can hit us up at our email, thebrotherslayman@gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram at mymanro. And yeah, if y'all got any questions, any feedback, hit us back and we'll definitely respond to it.
Yes, sir. Make sure y'all do, man, because these brothers are the family right here. I tell you, man. CL will be up here soon. He's been on here a few episodes. Finally, you made it on, JL. It's about time, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely appreciate you having me on. I got to get back on here again for sure.
Of course. Oh, you definitely come back playoff time, man, for sure.
Yes, sir.
Most definitely. And family, man, that's Above the Rim episode 86. And we are...